you're here with us this beautiful Sunday morning, and we'd like you to join us in our very first sing-along song called I'm Choosing Heaven.
Arise!
Arise, says he. 1, 2.
Your staff minister, and it's here on Sundays that we get to experience and discover our highest selves through the music, through the message, and through the fellowship with each other. And no matter where you are along your spiritual path, we want you to know that you are safe and you are welcome here. We're going to start this morning by doing our opening ceremony, lighting the flames of faith. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We light the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs, practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of compliance with the will of God as the highest calling. We light the candle for the universal religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal principles. And as practitioner Patrick Freeman lights the last candle, let it represent the path that brought you here this morning. And would you please join me in prayer? Presence in this universe. It is that thing itself that does the work. And as I recognize this, I recognize that it does its work through me, as me. So I merge into this idea, this oneness, that my life is guided and protected and surrounded in this all-encompassing love. And it is the power that creates. It is that power that moves through me. And so I recognize this, and I live my life in that freedom. In that freedom, knowing that the choices that I make and the thoughts that I have are recreating everything in my life. I look around and I know what I'm thinking and feeling. I recognize that this life is good. It is so good. It is so powerful. And I am so present in it now. And I give such great thanks. Such great thanks for this awareness. Such great thanks for this practice of the science of mind. Because my awareness is on high. And I get to play in this field of love. And so as I release this word into that law of love, that law of creativity, that law that does the work, I know that my life is completely merged into that center and that heart of goodness. And together we say, and so it is. I'd like to invite now Aidan Greeny to come up and to lead us in the Declaration of Principles and our morning affirmation.
Good morning. So let's read our declarations of principles together. I believe in God, the one creative intelligence, operating through the universe and throughout my entire being, now and always. I believe this perfect spirit operates upon the law of mind and creates my experience exactly according to my belief. I believe this perfect creative intelligence can be used by me and by every other person to produce health, abundance, and love in mind, body, and total life experience. I use it now, and I rejoice in it, and so it is. And together we will read the affirmation just once. There is a power for good in the universe, greater than I am, and I am using it for good, and so it is.
Thank you so much, Aidan. And please welcome Wade Wooldridge.
Good morning. settle down. I won't settle for less. As long as there's half a chance that I can have it all, I'll go it alone. If that's how it must be, 'cause I can't be right for somebody else if I'm not right for me. I gotta be free. I just gotta be free to more than just try to do it or die. I've gotta be me.
Wow, Wade. We grow them good here, don't we? That was wonderful. What a great, great song, and just fabulously sung. So filled with truth. So I see you have been using the science of mind. You're all looking very well, looking very pretty, very prosperous, very healthy, and happy. So you must be using the science of mind, which is what my message is. Using the science of mind. It's for us to remember, it isn't what we know, it's how much we apply of what we know. Are we using the science of mind? It's a very simple science when you come right down to it. It's done unto us as we believe. As we believe. So how do we determine what we really believe? Look at our lives. Kindly, gently, compassionately look at our lives. Go, oh, I might have some work to do there. Or, hey, that's a pretty powerful, good, positive belief. I'm happy that I have that one. So, using the science of mind is what we're all about here. And last week, in my excitement to do something new with the offertory, I misspoke. So my ministers brought me awareness about what I actually said. I went, oh, I didn't say that, did I? And they said it was okay, but because we knew what you meant. It's good that everyone is reading my mind because my energy is important too. What I meant to say last week, because it's very important, money is an important part of every of the service because it's a spiritual idea. Money is God in action. If everything is God, then money is God in action. And what we're doing now at offertory time is making sure that we take those actions of giving consciously, that we're consciously aware that this is God, so it's sacred time. So speaking of that, we're also this afternoon, thank you, Fred Mercado, who has been busy and he was sick and looking after his wife at the same time, but we're budgeting right now. And it's really hard to budget when we don't have all of the information. And some of you haven't turned in your pledges yet, and yet I know you consider yourself members of this center. So please, before you leave today, make sure that you have filled in one of these cards. If you've already done it, that's great, but we discovered that 3 of our ministers had done it and we didn't get their pledges. So check with us if you think we got your pledge. I'll be actually sending out a letter this coming week and put it in that beautiful wooden box. I call it a treasure chest because it does hold our treasure. So do that before you go. I've got a couple of people inspire me. This last Wednesday, Albert Wallace, stand up, Albert. Yay! Albert spoke about his amazing act of transformation, which was walking the Pacific Crest Trail, which is 2,600 and some miles. And it took him 6 months to do it. He did it alone, basically. Sometimes he'd be joined by people, etc. And his beloved Donna did bring him treats here and there. But 6 months. And the learning, the self-examination was transformative, which he told us about. I'm going to come back to that because it isn't mine to tell, and all you need to do, if you missed Wednesday, and most of you did, is, I can look around and see, is just simply go to our YouTube channel and you will find it right there. You'll find it right there and you'll be so happy you did that, because it's an amazing, well-told experience of personal transformation that is inspiring, So I want to tell you a little bit of some of the things that I've been doing. It seems I'm studying these days. This week is my week of turning the next year after 70. And that means that I have to take a driver's test. And because I like to do things all at once, I'm also studying for my citizenship test for, so I'm studying for citizenship, I'm studying for driver training. And my coach came over to help me study for my citizenship test. And he asked me 5 questions. I got them right. He said, "That's it. You're going to pass. It's good." And he left. So much for coaching, Len. Anyway, I'm sure I'll be fine. Friday night, I was invited with friends to go to the movies. And here's a clue, because here's something for all of you to know. Book online well in advance if you have a particular movie you want to go to, because we were turned down twice for 2 different movies. There wasn't any room at the inn. And the online people get priority over the in-person people. So book online, because they're going to take those people first. Anyway, we happened to go to Phantom Thread, which is a true story. It's shocking to me that it's a true story. It's a true story about Reynolds Woodcock, who is the fashion designer that designed in the 50s, the Queen, the Princess, and the royal family. He made all of the gowns. He was a confirmed bachelor, and ladies, I don't think her method, Alma's method of getting him to marry her is really, I'm not going to suggest it to all of you as, this is a really good idea. In fact, we got out of the movie and one of my friends asked me, "Well, what did you think?" I said, "That was a study in aberrant behavior. It was a study in weirdness." And now, one of the first things about Science of Mind, you're not supposed to judge anyone or anything, including yourself. So much for aberrant behavior. It was unusual behavior, because I definitely was judging. And I'm not going to be, it's not much of a spoiler alert, because if you look up what the movie's about, it tells you right online what it's about. And Alma wins over Reynolds' love by poisoning him with mushrooms and then caring for him. I am not kidding. Does that sound like a really good idea to anyone here?
Did it work?
Yes. Not only did it work that time, but when he started slipping away after marriage, she poisons him again, and he watched her. And I thought, this is just crazy. And then it struck me. We are eating poisoned mushrooms often. Back to Albert Wallace. He tells the story of having this transformative experience. And it had to do with his father, and I'm not going to say any more than that, because you should watch online. But sometimes those poison mushrooms come from the people that we love the most, that are there, supposed to care for us, but they tell us things that are lies, and they do it. Every single lie has been done with the best of intentions. Parents don't set out to send their children to therapy later. They really don't do that. Every single one of you, or the parents that we've had were doing the best job they could. And we are not here to judge them. But if there were some unskillful things or spiritual lies that you were told, this is the time to use science of mind. To recognize that what you've been believing about yourself was not the truth. And there's no reason on earth to continue making yourself sick just because that might have been something that happened in the past. Now is the time. Now is the time. That wonderful statement that Aiden read, there's a power for good in the universe, and you can use it. Dr. Ernest Holmes began every radio show with that. There's a power for good, and you can use it. That was a transformative idea. All of those years, you can use God, you can use this power for good. There's a power for good greater than you are, and you can use it. And then we discovered that whether we're conscious of it or not, we're always using it. We're always creating out of the sum total of our beliefs. That's why all you have to do is look at your life and then kindly and gently make adjustments. If there's some poison mushrooms you've been eating, change your diet, right? Change your diet. Tell yourself the truth. You're beautiful, you're lovely, you're prosperous. You are adventuresome. You always have love in your life. You've never been abandoned. You've always been well. You were designed in perfect health, perfect wholeness. You, right now, are that presence and power that is that divine mind. I just want to remind you of a few things before I put my paper down. Next week, we have a potluck. And we didn't have room on the announcements to remind you. We have a potluck next week, bring food. It's always fun and people stay, but what we provide on Sundays, most Sundays, comes from our kitchen. This is supposed to come from your kitchens. It'll be great. And then the other thing that I wanted to say was, right, thank you. Tomorrow is the last day to get the early bird for the Centers for Spiritual Living annual convention. How many people have ever been to annual conventions? Hannah? Okay, not many of it, but how many of you go back time and time again because it's so good? Look at these two right here. President of our board, our assistant ministers, both of them, yes, 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 we go again because it fills us up. It's not just because we see our old friends, but that's true also. It fills us up. There's so much good material there. And this is the first year in years and years and years that it's been here in Orange County. It's right here in Orange County at Irvine. And tomorrow you can get still early bird prices. Consider going, and you also can get day passes. So if there's something that you want to go to, so for instance, Ricky Byers is going to be doing a concert one night. That might be something that you would want to go to. There's just, look it up online. Centers for Spiritual Living Annual Convention. You'll be so happy that you did. And you'll be even happier if you go. Okay. So the other thing that I've been doing, remember last week I told you about getting my teeth fixed. What I didn't tell you is the dentist I went to last week is in Mexico. And the reason I went to the dentist in Mexico was purely financial, that I could get the same quality of work done for a fraction, a third of the money. And being careful with my disposable income, because I want to have some at the end of my life. One of my doctors this last week asked me, so are you going to work till you're 100? I thought, well, I don't think so, but maybe. I see that Jane Fonda is 80 and she's still working, so anyway, back to the dentist. So I went to the dentist The first time, someone went with me, so I was pretty confident. She was telling me how to get wherever I wanted to go. And then went to the dentist, take a cab, they pay for the cab, get you back to the border crossing. And on Friday morning, we went through the border about 7:30 a.m. No people, no lines. And yesterday, I just retraced my steps, but now I was by myself. Huge line, 100 people in line at that border cross, still at 7:30 a.m. Same time of day, but a different day of the week. And I finally get up to the agent at the gate, and I say, "What's going on? Why are there so many people here?" Last week on Friday, he said, "Oh, it's Saturday. It's always like this on Saturday." Really? He said, "Why didn't you go to the other one?" "What do you mean there's another one?" We were, every time I think there's an old border crossing and a new border crossing. And we went to the old border crossing. That's why it was so busy on a Saturday, because people take the trolley down to the border crossing and then, anyway, I learned, which is part of our plan. I'd asked my ministers to treat for me, spiritual mind treatment, affirmative prayer. So I went, it was easy to get there, it was easy to get back, all the work was done, and I was back home by 12:15. Left at 6:30 a.m., 12:15, got the work done. I've got like 4 zirconia crowns. Wow. So smile. Thanks. How are you using the science of mind? How are you using the science of mind? I shared with you that I love these old Science of Mind magazines. I'm going to read you something in a minute from today's reading. But before I do, how many of you shop online? Okay, quite a few of you. So shopping online is like, think of it as a spiritual mind treatment. It's exactly like a spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer. Here are the steps. First of all, you have to decide what you want. And then you go to find a store. Or as we've now come to use the word Google as a verb, you Google it and just find out where you can buy whatever you want to buy. So that's step one, recognizing that there's one power that can take you anywhere and get you anything. Then what do? You have to connect with it. You have to make sure that you're not just looking at it, that you're connected. That's what we do in prayer. We connect with it. And then what do? We choose specifically exactly what we want. We get exactly what we want. We make our bold declaration, this is what I'm intending in my life. And then, I don't know if you do, but I'm usually so grateful. I'm just so grateful I found exactly what I want. It's the amount that I'm willing to pay, and it's going to come to me tomorrow because of who I'm shopping with. And then I have to let it go, right? Then you release it, let it go. Those are the steps of prayer. When you're using the science of mind, you know that there's one power, you connect with that power, you make a bold declaration of what it is that you see for yourself, you give thanks, and you let go. Easy. So this person, his name is Reverend Paul Martin Brunette, and I sure wished he'd been in the Science of Mind when I got in the Science of Mind, but by the time I got in the Science of Mind, there was only one church in religious science in New York City. This was the second church of religious science in New York City that he was the minister of. And today's spiritual mind treatment lesson was about bones. Kind of unusual thing. But I thought, you know what? This is a really good prayer for anyone. So I'm going to read it to you. And this is what he says. My bones are made out of the radiant substance of spirit. And the quote is from Isaiah 66:14. Your bones shall flourish like an herb. My bones are made out of the radiant substance of spirit. God's life is the vitalizing essence of my joints and marrow. Neither rheumatism nor arthritis can inflame or congest them. The glowing, flowing life of the eternal renews these bones with the calcium of Christ, fluidic, firm, but flexible in the master consciousness which built the joints and marrow of my being. Nothing hard, tense, obstinate, or caustic shall ever stay in my consciousness. Let me say that again. Nothing hard, tense, obstinate, or caustic shall ever stay in my consciousness. I am filled with a divine joy that releases every mean, stony, callous, hard feeling about myself or another. Deposits of old stuff can never accumulate in me. I refuse to be the repository of others' petrifying hatreds. I pour the oil of joy and love on the hinges of my being. Divine love lubricates and removes every swelling, deformity, and pain. What God hath joined together, no disease, pain, or accident can put asunder. In the peace and presence of God's mind, here and now, all things are joined fitly together for vital, painless, good health. Fitly together. No age, time, accident, or weather can influence, shrivel, or swell the foundations of my being. God's life in me is forever immune and exempt from decrepitude and decay. God made the vertebrae of my spine upright. My whole nerve system is free, clear, and liberated. There can be no squeezed, pinched, or crowded arteries, ganglia, or organs. Omnipotence is the vital tone of my sacroiliac. I have no burdens. My yoke is easy. My body is light. The mighty power of love hath made me free. And then there's a place in the Science Mind textbook to study, and it's the page 260, and it's on rheumatism. Ernest Holmes studied all of these and gave us ways of handling, but here's all you need to remember. Could this thing that you are saying is true for you be true for God? If it can be, then it's so. If it's impossible, then it ain't so. You are using the science of mind right now. Use it well, and so it is. I'm going to pray, which I forgot to do last week. In this holy moment of now, in my language of 2018, I unify with that one power that is all-knowing, everywhere present, that power of life itself, that knows no otherness, that only knows itself as wholeness, perfection, well-being. I unify with that transformed consciousness of love, of life, of freedom, of liberty. I know that every single thing that is true for God is true for me. I speak this whole word in the I am, and I invite people to just take what fits for them. If it doesn't fit, just let it go. Let it wash past you. Do not immerse yourself in it. Here's what I know. I know that I am immersed in this one power. I am filled to the tippy top with the truth of my being. That I am enough and that there is enough. That I am the abundance of the divine, and the divine keeps showing me the greatness of itself everywhere. It shows me the well-being that I am. From this moment on, I refuse to poison myself or anyone else with ideas of any kind of lack, any kind of incompleteness or not enoughness. It is simply a lie and has no place in God, for God is truth. So, knowing that God is truth, not only do I know that that abundance is mine right now, but love is mine right now. And I am worthy of that because I am giving of that love. Heart to heart, mind to mind, there is more good than I have conceived up until now. And tomorrow there will be even more and more and more. I know that every aspect of my life is blessed and is a blessing. I know the creative power within me moves through me as ideas that serve me, that every single word, every thought is a prayer. And so I choose carefully my thoughts. I choose carefully my ideas and my feelings. I let go of any place within myself where there's criticism or condemnation, any place where there is fear or worry or insufficiency. All of it is gone. None of it was ever true. So knowing what I know for myself is thriving well-being, a life that is light with God's presence, a life that is filled with meaning and infinite possibilities. I am so very grateful that this is so. And with my heart filled with gratitude, knowing that living the science of mind is what I do, it's what I am. Not only am I aware of that power for good, but I know that it is using me here and now. So with my heart filled with gratitude, I simply place this word in the action of law. It is complete. And please help me anchor it by saying with me, and so it is. And so now back, Wade Wooldridge.
I am dreaming of a riverbank, misting shrouds the farther shore. I am standing in a wooden boat, in my hand a golden oar. Will I row against the current, or let myself be carried out to sea? Where I reach land at last is up to the river, but the journey is up to me. Time to sail, reluctant pilgrim. My fear is all I've got to lose. Life is nothing but a dreamscape, and the dream is mine to choose. I am racing down a corridor, endless doors on either side. I could open any one of them, step on through and change my life. Sometimes I pause here on the threshold, afraid to leave my bright familiar home. I'm waking in a forest glade. Needles of pine are in my hair. I see pathways through the underbrush leading to I don't know where. I hear strange voices in the thicket. I know some paths may not lead where they seem. They may await me, but I know if I stay here, I'll sleep right through my dream. Find the trail, reluctant pilgrim. My fear is all I've got to lose. Life is nothing but a dreamscape, and the dream is mine to choose. Let us sail, reluctant pilgrims. Our fear is all we've got to lose. Life is nothing but a dreamscape, and the dreams are ours to choose. Ours to
Way to go, Peter.
Beautiful. What a wonderful lyric that was. If the stewards would come forward. You weren't here last week, you don't know that we're doing this in a more sacred way. So, you come forward. What we're going to do is take a moment in silence first of gratitude, and perhaps we could think about those wonderful lyrics that Wade just sang. We have nothing to lose but fear, and so much to gain. So just in the silence, and then we're going to, after the silence, we're going to chant together, I am so blessed. And then Wade and Diane are going to finish up with something sweet. Please do not applaud after the offertory. We've got two signals going on at the same time. They're cacophony. So we didn't do our prosperity affirmation. Thank you, Reverend Judy. I could see what you were saying to me. My offering is my acceptance of God as the source of my supply, and symbolizes my faith in the abundant flow of this supply. Now
Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer. Our thoughts are prayers, the tools that we create with. Our thoughts are prayers that spirit resonates with. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of mindfulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer.
Dr. Jim Terrell used to teach us when we were in spiritual practice, and we really wanted to applaud. I just said, okay, together, 1, 2, 3. Another spiritual practice is being in service. And so for those of you who are in service today or have been in service this week, would you still stand so we could give you a lot of love? I'm so grateful for all you did, all you do. You truly are a different maker. And if the practitioners will remain standing, the practitioners are trained in the art and science of affirmative prayer. And if you want your life transformed, make an appointment to see one of these people. If you want to see what that tastes like, have a quick bite of it after service. The people who are in service today, Patrick Freeman, Hans Smith, Aidan Greeny, and Dr. Jeannie Hounshall. So please see one of those people. You'll be so happy you did. Thank you, Jeannie. The practitioners may be seated. I'd like to acknowledge any of you who are here for the very first time. If that's you, and or if you're brave, if you'd please stand. We've got a gift for you. So right down here, Dean. We're so happy that you chose to be with us today. We're going to affirm you, so if you remain standing, there's some information about our center and the gift that you're being given, and a welcome card. If you fill out the welcome card and take it to the bookstore, you'll receive another gift. It's a book of your choice. So let's know the truth about these beloved ones. Please repeat after me. Welcome to our center. You are an expression of the divine. What you do is important to life. Who you are makes a difference. Welcome home. And so it is. And so we have some announcements.
I'm going to have to ask you to please remain in your vehicle.
You know why we pulled you over.
License and registration, please.
I'm sorry, this is a driver's license, not a practitioner's license. Oh, you don't have a practitioner's license. Well, you could get one, you know, by attending the Inward Journey, the first year of practitioner training.
The current class has been postponed, but you can contact headquarters for a new start date and time.
And this registration is expired, just like the spiritual tour to Bali with Dr. Heather. They have proposed possible trips to Costa Rica, Sedona, or the Roots of the Science of Mind history tour. You can speak to Sergeant Carla if you have an interest in one of these.
You have the right to remain silent. If you give up the right to remain silent, anything you say can and should be said at Conscious Connections today from 12 to 12:30, facilitated by Lieutenant Mary Brogdon.
For the record, Lieutenant Mercado will be directing traffic at Wednesday's Wisdom. This week's topic is Ditch New Year's Resolution Day. Don't you get any ideas?
Look, we can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way.
If you want to do it the easy way, then you're going to have to plan to attend our 50th anniversary celebration on Friday, February 23rd. We will have more details about the party when the plans have been finalized, but Chief Justice Ken Gordon will be the keynote speaker.
If you want to do this the hard way, then we're going to take you downtown and take fingerprints and mugshots, and they're going to end up in the 2018 membership directory. You'd better decide quickly, as the deadline for the mugshots is February 4th.
Now, there's some paperwork you're going to need to fill out. If you haven't already done so, please pick up and complete a form on the table on your way out and send a digital photo to Officer Diane Hennessy. If you're not sure how to do that, ask someone with a smartphone to help you.
If you're lucky, you can get by with traffic school. Unfortunately for you, the foundations class that was scheduled to start this Monday has been canceled.
That leaves you with Dr. Heather's class based on the book You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. It will be starting this Tuesday, January 16th from 7 to 9 p.m. Books are available in the bookstore. Please bring a book and a journal to class. There is a sign-up sheet on the kiosk.
Okay, we're going to need you to exit the vehicle, stand up, reach out and touch both index fingers to your nose, put one foot in front of the other, and help us welcome the children.